how do you convert non-repeating decimals to fractions? Let's take a look. But before we even begin with that, we're going to think about our place value, because our place value chart and regarding decimals is very important to remember in order to comprehend what we're going to learn today. Well, we got to remember that we've got two parts of our place value. We've got the whole parts, which are your ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions before the decimal point. But after our decimal point, we've got our tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions place. Now, do you remember that after your decimal point, everything ends with TH? So we've got to remember that our decimal point is dividing things into small little pieces after it. And before it, it's grouping them into big, larger groups. So remembering that, let's take a look at remembering how to convert fractions to decimals. Do you guys remember how to do that? Well, I do. So now that I have a clear idea, let's go and try to focus on that. We will be converting fractions to decimals by analyzing its denominator. Now this one's pretty easy. We just looked at our place value chart. And we know we got the tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. We can continue making the number bigger, but that means that we're making actually the number even smaller. So we've got our first three fractions right here, and we're going to be writing these and trying to find its correct answer. So we got 6 tens, 6 out of 10. So we already know this is a decimal, and we're going to have our first answer will be a 0 in our ones place because we have nothing right there. And then we put our decimal point, and this is indicating that the 6 is on our tenths place value. So we're going to write the 6 in the tenths place. And that would be our final answer of converting this fraction into a decimal. Now let's take a look at problem number 2. We got 37 hundredths. Now if you can visually see this, our 7 finishes in the last hundredths place. So we have a 0 for our ones. We've got our 3 in the tens place, actually. And then we've got the 7 in the hundreds. That's where our number finishes. So we've got 0 decimal point 37 hundredths. Oh, but looking at problem number 3, we got 254 thousandths. Now mentally we can see that our 4 is going to be in our last 0 for the thousands place. So we already know that it's going to be 0 decimal point 2, 5 in the hundreds, and our thousands will contain the 4. So we have 0 decimal point 254 thousandths. So that was pretty easy, converting our fractions to decimals. Looking at tens place, hundredths place, and thousandths place. But now that we did that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our decimals to fractions part. So we are going to be learning how to convert decimals to fractions, and we need to have this clear reminder always. Simplify your fraction always if it is possible. So today we're going to be looking at these 4 problems. We're going to go from our 0.5 or decimal point 5, which is problem number 1, 0 decimal point 4, problem number 2, 1 decimal point 35 for problem 3, and 2 decimal point 82 for problem number 4. So let's take a look at that one. Here we go. Converting decimals to fractions. So the first thing is we're going to do the first step. So we know the 5 is in the tenths place. So let's convert that. We're going to have our 5. We're going to put it on top of a 10. But hold on, I told you to keep a quick reminder, right? Simplify your fraction. And we've already done simplification of fractions. So we have to find our common GCF, right? Greatest common factor. So in this case, we have 5 and 10. We obviously know that we can divide both by 5, and we gotta divide on the bottom as well, because when we're simplifying, we need to remember whatever you divide on the numerator needs to be divided on the denominator. So we divide 5 divided by 5, which gives us 1, and then we have 10 divided by 5, which gives us 2. And voila, we've got our final answer, which is 1/2 for our first decimal. Let's take a look at the next decimal. Our next decimal is 0.4. It's in the tens place as well. So we write down our 4, put it on top of a 10. But now we gotta divide. We gotta see if we can simplify. Of course I can simplify. But wait, I can't simplify by 4. Here, it would be 1, but can I divide 10 by 4? That's impossible. So I go even lower. By 3, neither. By 2, of course. I can divide by 2 here, and I can divide by 2 right here as well. What's my final answer right here? Okay, I've got 4 divided by 2, which gives me 2. And then 10 divided by 2, which gives me 5, because 5 times 2 gives me 10. And there I have my final answer, which is 2/5. So 0.4 or 4/10 is actually 2/5. Now, we're going to continue with our problem. We've got converting decimals to fractions 1.35. Okay, we've got a mixed number. So we've got 1, which is, and 35 over 100. Because it's in the hundredths place. Now I gotta divide, guys. Ooh, I gotta think about this one. I have to think about this one, and I'm gonna be divided by 5. That would be pretty easy, right? By 7, I can't divide 100 by 7. I'm gonna divide by 5 right here. I'm gonna divide by 5 right here, but you're gonna ask me, what's gonna happen to the 1? The 1 stays the same. So I'm gonna rewrite 1, okay? I have 35 divided by 5, which gives me 7. And then I have 100 divided by 5, which gives me 20. Right there, I just found my final answer. So I've got from 1.35 hundredths, decimal point 35 hundredths, my total is 1 and 7 out of 20 as my mixed number. Now let's go into our last problem, and it's converting decimals to fractions. And remember, we gotta simplify your fraction if it is possible. So we've got our mixed number, we got 2, and we're gonna write 82 over 100 again, right? So now I gotta think about this. Okay, this is an even number, I can divide by 2. But wait, can I divide 82 by 4? Of course I can, so I even go even higher. So I'm gonna be dividing by 4 right here. But wait, I can divide 82 by 4, but I can't, it's not going to be an equal amount, so I'm sorry, I can't do that. So I have to give it even lower. It's not going to be able to be 3, so it's going to be 2. So I'm going to be dividing 82 by 2, and I'm also going to be dividing 100 by 2. Let me erase that. Dividing 100 over by 2. So I got 41 as my division for 82 divided by 2, and then I got 50 dividing 100 by 2. Now I can't continue simplifying right here. This would be my ending of it, but I remember it's a mixed number. So actually I need to rewrite this. It's gonna be 241 over 50, okay? And now, let's go over our steps. Remember, when we need to simplify, we need to remember that we need to divide both numerator and denominator by the same number in order to simplify a fraction. So we gotta remember that. And there's 3 easy steps into converting decimals to fractions. Step 1, you gotta turn it into a fraction. Either you multiply by 100 or by 10 or 1,000, whichever way. Step 2 is simplifying that fraction, dividing it by the same common factor. And then step 3 would be your simplification, which would be your final answer. If you have any more questions about how to convert decimals to fractions, I invite you to go into www.mashupmath.com/blog/decimals to fractions. I hope you enjoyed.